This video is brought to you by no one. I am doing these videos as an experimental series since people want to see me play and explain Master E apparently. I am not a professional gamer and this is a video that is not analyzed by any Korean challengers. So if you are, feel free to leave any constructive feedback. Any negative or salty comments will be deleted, so fair warning. Also, I just want to point out to you that I do not have the best computer for recording any game and my voice at the same time, so sorry if there's any lagging. I'm starting at my red buff this game, so this is a really good start for me as a Yi if I can get a good leash without getting invaded by the Blitzcrank. Unfortunately, Blitz and his crew decides to invade. But thankfully, the Blitz crew didn't really know how to invade, or at least they seemed unsure of where to invade from. The big mistake was that they weren't on the same page before the invade, because Ez and Kai'Sa were very far apart from each other, and they seemed to want to invade at different parts of my jungle. Even though you don't need 5 people to do an invasion, I advise you guys to do a 5-man, or at least with no less than 4 people. So this way, you still have kill pressure if someone misses their abilities, and also it's very likely that if you only invade with 3 people that it will be a 3v3 fight because the jungler and the bot lane will also be there to back him up. So, because I saw the blitz coming, I had the opportunity to dodge the hook. Dodging the hook right here is actually the main piece to the success, because if I didn't, I'm pretty sure I would have just gotten blown up. However, because I dodged the hook, I had more decisions to come to make sure that the evasion would be an unsuccessful one from there. So after I dodged the hook, next thing was I focused on securing the red buff, because if I can secure the red buff, it means basically their invasion was unsuccessful. So instead of trying to fight them, I basically just alpha striked and smited the red buff, since I saw that Kai'Sa missed her smite. And next I tried to run away, since now I have the red buff for myself, and my goal was basically to try to get out safely. And their team should have tried to just back out safely, because now I had level 2 and I had red buff. But they overcommit and they try to fight a 3v3 when I had level 2 advantage. Our Braum and Lucian got a stun on Blitz with the Braum's passive igniting the stun before I decided to turn back. And this is when I decided that, oh wow, we could actually win this fight. Braum gets another really good passive stun onto Ezreal, so basically this allowed me to pick up the first kill with red buff. Next, I chase out Kai'Sa and Blitz from my jungle, making sure not to go too ham for them to turn back on me and steal my red buff after all the hard work that we just made. So at this point, I try to do something very risky. Instead of going for my Raptors in blue, I actually decided to invade Kai'Sa's jungle, knowing that Kai'Sa and also Blitzcrank are low health. I have a level advantage and I also have red buff, so basically after I saw that Kai'Sa wasn't at her blue buff, I thought she backed, so I immediately started blue buff. But then she decides to actually face check me inside the brush, and then she used her ability on the blue buff instead of me. So this basically gives me an indication that, hey, I can go all in here. She flashes under her turret, but I realized that I can probably still kill her with the last auto attack. So I flash after her, and then I just run out without dying. So this was very risky because the Ezreal actually respawned and was actually right there. And higher elo, I would have been sure to probably die because the Ezreal would have chased me. Or at least helped the Kai'Sa, and then I would have died. But then Ezreal just walks back to lane, and then I run back to safety because now I see Talon is missing from lane. I decided to recall at first, but then I think, hey, I see Talon on the ward, so I basically take Scuttle. This is also actually pretty risky because if this was in higher elo, the Talon might have realized that, hey, check the Scuttle Crab to maybe get an easy kill, but thankfully he doesn't, so now I have 2 kills and a full topside jungle to clear. One of the key things to do once you're ahead is to let the other team know that you are ahead. So if you have gold, but the other team never sees your face and they never die, do you really have gold or not? So I decided to path to topside to get camps and look to either invade Kai'Sa's jungle since I know that she's very behind and cannot fight me one-on-one due to my gold advantage and level advantage, or gank a lane. In this case, I path to Kai'Sa's Raptors, but then I see a juicy gank mid lane onto Talon, which may or may not work, but you never know unless you try. So I auto attack to start off the gank, and then red smite him to make sure that he gets extra damage and I take less damage from him. Then I alpha strike onto his return W to avoid more damage, and I think that my alpha strike would be able to finish off the kill. He flashes and my alpha strike follows, and I finish off the kill, and then I press meditate once I exit the turret range to make sure I don't die because I take less damage from turret shots when I press W. Next, I farm up bot side jungle since I am too low health to invade Kai'Sa's jungle after the dive onto Talon, and I just want to get a little bit more gold so I can back to spend it. I take Krug's Raptors, then I back by my red buff to make sure that Kai'Sa is not here to try to steal it since she has a timestamp on when my red buff will respawn. This is because she was last here when the red buff died, so she will see when the red buff will respawn. And just as I predicted, Kai'Sa sends an ability to my red buff, which procs damage on my red buff, and I thought she was actually here to steal it, but I guessed wrong. And I decided to take my red buff here because I know that Kai'Sa can't really fight me one-on-one in my own jungle due to me being closer to my mid lane and bot lane. Here, I path to bottom side even though I just cleared bot side jungle, and this is because I know that we are ahead in score, and I see our bottom lane is pushing into their tower, which means that if I start Dragon up and ping them, I'm pretty sure that they'll be free to help me, and getting an Inferno Dragon at 8 minutes of the game is pretty good. Notice how I bought a control ward and placed it in the middle of the pit just to make sure that they don't have vision on Dragon. Next, I use the orb to get vision into their jungle and place a deep ward, and then I continued to take my lead over Kai'Sa by stealing her Gromp. Fortunately for her, she already stole my Gromp while I was doing Dragon, so this is just pretty much a return steal. I know that I was safe from doing this because Lucian and Braum kept their bot lane pressured and under their turret, so I knew that they wouldn't be coming back to contest me. After I take Gromp, I easily just turret dive since I see that their bot lane is low health, and I get an easy double kill here. You don't see it here on video, but I had to use my flash, and then I immediately meditated after I flashed off turret range, and then afterwards I am still very low health, and I see that Talon just got a double kill bot lane and is still pretty much full health. So I just take the blast cone out to safety and I run into my own jungle, and then I clear my Raptors to give me a little bit gold before I back, since now I see that Talon is still busy clearing out the minions bot lane. Singed steals my blue buff from under my skin, and I clear the rest of my top side jungle. This wasn't much, and at this point I couldn't gank any lanes, so I just decided to see if Kai'Sa had any camps up. If she did, I know that I could steal them since she was very behind at this point, and I knew that she couldn't fight me on her own unless one of her laners came to help. I steal her whole topside jungle and see a perfect gank onto the Singed, which is way too far pushed up. Since I saw Kai'Sa on the map bot lane, and I know their top is dead, I decide to ping Kennen for help on the Rift Herald. Lux comes by to help again, and by now our team has a massive lead, and I'm melting squishies and tanks on their team's life. Kai'Sa was mad that I stole her jungle over and over, so she decides to steal my red buff as I summon the Rift Herald bot lane. We take the turret, then we kill the Blitz that was trying to protect the turret, but he probably should have just backed off since the turret was very low health. And here, the Kai'Sa and Blitz should have just charged me with their abilities and try to kill Rift Herald or back away, but their indecision basically got them killed because they basically didn't make a play and they allowed me to make a play. Here, I was just in good positioning to flash and Q onto Ezreal, and there wasn't really anything he could do, and I was just really confident in my ability to kill him and Kai'Sa, since I could dodge the turret shot now that my Alpha Strike was back up, and I was still near full health. After pushing bottom lane all the way to their base, we double back and kill the dragon before heading back to our base. Notice how the control ward I placed in Dragon Pit to scare the first dragon was still there, which is providing great vision for an entire time. I then proceed to take their blue buff and then kill the Blitzcrank since he tried to contest the blue. Next, I kill the Ezreal since the Blitzcrank wasn't there to protect the Ezreal. What could have happened here is Blitz and Ezreal could have charged me at the same time, and that would have been much worse for me. But the worst thing that you can really do with a Fed E is to meet him 1v1 right after he kills someone, and that's basically what happened here. Here, I got too excited and went in on the Singed, and my Meditate didn't give me enough damage reduction, so I died. But Riot, I was an alpha! I pick up the red buff and expected Ezreal to be gone by the time I got to bot turret, but since he wasn't and just used his E arcane shift on the minion, I knew that I had an easy kill onto him. Next I push out the bot wave and then look to Baron, as it is getting close to spawn time. Our team is extremely fed and we have Mountain Dragon buff, which means we will kill Baron even faster. Easy enough for me when I was pathing the Baron. Kennen and Lux got a double kill onto their top lane and jungler, which means that we can start Baron right as it spawns. Everyone has a Baron and we just killed 2 members of their team. Probably nothing could be more perfect at this moment. Now that we have Baron, there's not really any way for us to lose, and I'm extremely fed on Mastery E, so I won't be explaining past this point on how I got the kills, but I'll still show the abilities I used to get my kills. Oh, one more thing. Here I go way too ham and die. Not too much more to explain here. I probably should have just been happy and recalled, but I saw a turning opportunity, which actually ended up giving our team a positive exchange, so I wasn't too mad.
Unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Got me talking about my life. I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Got me talking about my life. I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Got me talking about my life, but I'm both right now.
Been destroyed. Destroyed.
If you made it this far into the video, please be sure to leave a like and comment whether I should do more of these in-depth videos, as they really do take a long time to make. I had the idea to make this video after the people in this game really want to see me play more, and I had no idea making this video would take this long, but I found the experience pretty worth it anyways, since I get to analyze my own plays and analyze the game from both teams' point of view. And with that, I am out.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street. Under the sun, the bastard son will pop the clock to feed himself.